The contract didn't mention blood. I should have known something was wrong when the salary had 4 extra zeros, when the NDA was thicker than my lease agreement, when the recruiter's smile didn't reach her eyes as she slid the pen across the mahogany desk and said, "You'll do just fine, Emma. Just remember, see nothing, say nothing." But student loans don't pay themselves, and my studio apartment had started growing mushrooms in the bathroom corner. Korea was supposed to be temporary, 2 years of teaching, adjacent work, and cheaper living while I rebuilt my life. Somehow, it became home. So here I stand, outside the Artemis Tower in Gangnam, craning my neck until my vertebrae crack. 93 floors of black glass and steel that swallows the morning sun. The building doesn't reflect light, it devours it. 2 men in tactical gear flank the entrance, earpieces coiled like serpents, hands resting on holsters that definitely aren't for show. They don't blink as I approach. I'm not sure they're even breathing. "Emma Clark," I squeak, holding up my phone with the access code. "New hire. Domestic services." The one on the left scans my face with something that looks like it could also launch missiles. A green light blinks. The glass doors, exhale, open. The lobby is a cathedral of marble and silence. My sneakers squeak, 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 squeak across floors so polished I can see my terrified reflection staring back up at me. A woman in a suit so sharp it could cut glass gestures toward an elevator without speaking. The doors close on me like a mouth. No music, no floor numbers lighting up, just the sensation of rising so fast my stomach drops to my knees and the growing certainty that I've made a spectacular mistake. The penthouse level greets me with more silence. Floor-to-ceiling windows frame Seoul like a kingdom laid out for inspection. Everything is white, chrome, and angles that seem designed to cut. Some walls look thicker than they need to be, luxury disguising hidden depth. A stray cat in a lion's den, I think. No, a field mouse in a surgical theater. That's when I see him. Through a glass wall, in what must be his office, sits Kang Jae-min, the man whose toilet I'm apparently meant to scrub. He's younger than I expected, early 30s maybe. Black suit, black hair swept back, posture so rigid he could be carved from the same marble as the lobby. 3 men in identical suits stand before his desk like students awaiting execution. He doesn't raise his voice, doesn't need to. One man flinches at whatever he says. Jae-min's hand moves across the desk, casual, elegant, and picks up what looks like a file. He flips it open, tilts his head. Then he slides it across the surface toward the flinching man, still without a smile, without anything resembling human warmth. The man's face drains of color. My new boss leans back in his chair, fingers steepled, and says something that makes all 3 men bow so low their foreheads nearly touch their knees. "Miss Clark?" A voice behind me. I jump approximately 7 feet. A woman in her 50s, gray hair in a tight bun, appraises me with the warmth of a tax audit. "I'm Mrs. Cho, head of household staff. Come." I follow, legs feeling like water. "Rules," she says crisply as we walk. Mr. Kang's floor is cleaned between 6 and 8 a.m. only. You do not speak unless spoken to. You do not ask questions. You see nothing unusual. Understood? What counts as unusual? The words escape before I can stop them. Mrs. Cho stops walking, turns. Her eyes are black wells. "Everything, Miss Clark. Everything in this house is unusual. The sooner you forget that, the longer you'll last." Through the glass wall, Jaemin's gaze suddenly shifts and locks directly onto me. His eyes are obsidian dark, cold, and utterly unreadable. For 3 seconds that stretch like hours, Kang Jae-min stares at me through that glass wall. Not a glance, a dissection. Like he's cataloging every nervous breath, every tell, every weakness I'm foolish enough to wear on my face. Then he looks away, dismissing me as easily as one dismisses a shadow. Mrs. Cho's hand clamps onto my elbow. Come, now. She drags me down a hallway lined with abstract art that probably costs more than my life. My heart hammers so violently I'm certain it's audible, echoing off these pristine walls like a drum announcing my inadequacy. You don't look at Mr. Kang, she hisses. You don't linger. You certainly don't stare. I wasn't. You were. Her grip tightens. Girls like you always do. Then they wonder why they disappear from the staff list. End. The supply closet she shoves me toward is larger than my apartment and organized with military precision. She thrusts cleaning supplies into my arms, specific brands, specific solutions, each bottle labeled in both Korean and English. His bedroom, ensuite bathroom, private office if the door is open, never, never if it's closed. Her eyes bore into mine. 6 a.m. every day. He leaves for his workout at 5:45. You have exactly 1 hour and 15 minutes. What if he comes back early? He won't. Mr. Kang operates on precision. So will you. She leaves me there, drowning in chemical-scented uncertainty and the growing realization that I've entered something far more complex than a housekeeping position. The first week, I'm a ghost. I arrive in darkness, when Seoul is still sleeping and the penthouse is empty, except for the hum of expensive electronics and the weight of secrets embedded in every surface. I clean like I'm diffusing bombs carefully, thoroughly, leaving no trace of my presence. Nights and weekends, I cling to the one thread of a future that still belongs to me. Delayed applications, online lectures, and assignments, squeezed between exhaustion and survival. I wasn't enrolled yet, not officially, but I was clawing my way there. Jaemin's bedroom is unsettling in its austerity. King bed with black silk sheets, always perfectly made. No photos, no personal items. The only hint of humanity is a book on the nightstand, The Art of War, in Korean, with a bookmark halfway through. His bathroom is where I find the first crack in the facade. Blood on the marble sink. Not much, just a few droplets, rust brown against white stone. My hand freezes mid-wipe, fresh enough that it hasn't fully dried. My stomach clenches. I clean it away and don't ask questions. But I start noticing things. Bruised knuckles when he takes his morning coffee from the kitchen counter. I've learned his routine now. Learned to time my exits so we occupy different spaces. The way he rolls his shoulders like they carry concrete weight. How men in expensive suits arrive at odd hours, leaving through private elevators with faces carved from stone and fear. Phone calls in rapid Korean, his voice dropping to a register that makes my spine ice over. I'm wiping down his office windows one morning, door open. He's not due back for 20 minutes when I hear it. Footsteps. I freeze, cloth in hand, reflected in the glass like a deer caught in approaching headlights. Thorough. His voice cuts through the silence. Mrs. Cho chose well. I turn slowly. Jaemin stands in the doorway, dressed in a charcoal suit that probably costs more than my car. His hair is slightly wet, swept back, and those obsidian eyes assess me with the same clinical detachment as before. I'm almost finished, Mr. Kang. My voice sounds steadier than I feel. You're Emma. Not a question. A confirmation that he's known my name all along, even though we've never been formally introduced. Yes, sir. You're early today. Traffic was light. He steps into the office, and suddenly, the massive space feels suffocating. He moves to his desk, fingers trailing across the polished surface. I spent 15 minutes perfecting. You're observant. Again, not a question. I can tell by the way you clean. Nothing missed. Nothing assumed. But my mouth goes dry. I just follow instructions. Mrs. Cho's instructions or your own instincts? It feels like a test. Everything with this man feels like a test. Both, I suppose. The corner of his mouth twitches. Not quite a smile. Honest. Refreshing. He opens a drawer, retrieves a file, and I catch a glimpse of his hand. The knuckles are worse than I thought. Split skin, purple bruising, spreading across his metacarpals. Our eyes meet. "You should go," he says quietly. "Before you see something you can't unsee." I gather my supplies and leave, but his words follow me like ghosts. That night, I hear it. "I'm leaving late," Mrs. Cho asked me to deep clean the kitchen when raised voices echo from the sealed conference room. Korean words I don't understand, but tone is universal. Jae-min's voice, cold as a blade. "You stole from me. Did you think I wouldn't notice?" A man's voice, cracking with terror. "Please, my family. Your family should have been your first thought, before you decided loyalty was negotiable." Silence. Then a sound that might be a fist connecting with flesh. I run. I don't sleep that night. Every time I close my eyes, I hear that sound, flesh meeting bone, the wet crack of impact, the silence that followed. I tell myself it could have been anything. A hand slamming a table. A chair knocked over, my imagination filling gaps with horror movie logic. But the blood on his knuckles told a different story. By morning, I've convinced myself to quit. I'll send an email, forfeit the severance clause, go back to waiting tables and eating ramen for dinner. Dangerous money isn't worth it. Nothing is worth becoming complicit in whatever Kang Jae-min really does behind those glass walls. I arrive at 5:50 a.m. with my resignation rehearsed. The penthouse greets me with its usual sterile silence. I move through my routine on autopilot: bedroom, bathroom, office. The office door is open, as always, at this hour. Empty, as always. Except today, it isn't. I'm 3 steps inside, ammonia spray in hand, when I register the figure standing at the window. Jae-min turns. We stare at each other, and I watch his expression shift from surprise to something darker: calculation, perhaps. Assessment. He's in workout clothes, black compression shirt, clinging to a physique that suggests violence is a language he speaks fluently. Sweat still dampens his hairline. "I'm sorry," I stammer, backing toward the door. "I thought you're usually, 'I'll come back.'" "Stay." It's not a request. My feet root to the floor against every screaming instinct. He crosses to his desk, picks up his phone, and I realize he's on a call. Bluetooth earpiece, nearly invisible. He switches to English. For my benefit, I realize, with creeping dread. "No, I don't accept excuses, Vincent. I accept results." His voice is silk, wrapped around steel. "You had 3 weeks. The shipment was supposed to arrive in Busan 2 days ago. Instead, my warehouse sits empty, and my buyers are questioning my reliability." Silence as he listens. His jaw tightens. "I don't care about customs complications. That's what I pay you to handle. If you can't do your job." He pauses, and his eyes flick to me. "Hold. Then I'll find someone who can, permanently." The word permanently lands like a death sentence. "You have 48 hours. Don't make me come to Singapore." He ends the call, removes the earpiece, and sets it down with precise care. "You're still here," he observes. "You told me to stay. Most people would have run anyway. Should I have?" His head tilts, studying me with that unnerving intensity. "Probably." We stand in loaded silence, 10 feet and 1,000 unspoken truths between us. "What did you hear?" he asks, finally. "Nothing that makes sense to me, but enough to frighten you." It's not a question, but I answer anyway. "Yes." "Good." He moves closer, and I force myself not to retreat. Fear means you're paying attention. Stupidity gets people killed in my world, Emma. Fear keeps them breathing. He didn't sound proud. He sounded resigned, like violence was a language he hated, but had never been allowed to forget. "What world is that, exactly?" The question escapes before I can cage it. His eyebrow arches, surprised, maybe impressed. "The one you signed an NDA not to ask about." "NDAs don't usually come with implied death threats." "No," he agrees. "They don't." He's close now. Close enough that I can smell his cologne, something dark and expensive, cedar and smoke. close enough to see the faint scar bisecting his left eyebrow, the kind that comes from stitches done poorly or not at all. "You should quit," he says quietly. "Walk out. Forget this address. Mrs. Cho will ensure you receive full compensation for the month." "Is that what you want?" His eyes narrow. "What I want is irrelevant." "That's not an answer." "No," he agrees again. "It isn't." The air between us feels electric, charged with something I don't have a name for. Danger, yes, but something else. Something that makes my pulse race for reasons that have nothing to do with fear. "I'm not fragile," I hear myself say. "I grew up in foster care, worked 3 jobs through college. I've seen hard things, survived hard things. I'm not some delicate flower who'll shatter at the first sign of trouble." "This isn't trouble, Emma." His voice drops. "This is a Category 5 hurricane, and you're standing in its path, wearing a paper umbrella. Emma, maybe I like storms." His laugh is brief, sharp, genuine. It transforms his face for half a heartbeat, and I catch a glimpse of who Kang Jae-min might have been before whatever turned him into this. "Stubborn," he murmurs. "Dangerously stubborn. Pot, meat, kettle." The smile that ghosts across his mouth shouldn't make my stomach flip. This man is dangerous, possibly criminal, definitely involved in things that would make my conscience scream. But when he looks at me like this, like I'm a puzzle he can't quite solve, I forget to be sensible. "Leave my office, Emma. I haven't finished cleaning. Leave, now, before I do something we'll both regret." The roughness in his voice sends heat spiraling through me. I grab my supplies and walk toward the door on legs that feel unsteady. "Emma," I turn back. He's watching me with an expression I can't decipher. "Tomorrow morning, my office. We need to establish boundaries." I thought we just did." "No," he says softly. "We just discovered we don't have any." He starts appearing more often after that. In the kitchen when I'm restocking supplies, in the hallway when I'm leaving, always watching, always assessing, like I'm a variable in an equation he's trying to balance. And I, God help me, start watching back. The summons comes via Mrs. Cho on a Thursday morning. "Mr. Kang wants to see you. His office." And 3 p.m. Her expression suggests I'm walking toward my own execution. Don't be late. I spend the day in spiraling anxiety, running through every possible reason he'd want to meet. I've been meticulous with my work. Haven't stolen anything, broken anything, seen anything I wasn't supposed to. Well, nothing new, anyway. At 2:58 p.m., I knock on his office door. Enter. He's behind his desk, suit jacket discarded, shirt sleeves rolled to his elbows. The afternoon light cuts through the windows, turning him into a study of contrasts, shadow, and sharp edges, danger wrapped in expensive fabric. "Close the door." My heart hammers as I comply. The click of the latch feels final. "Sit." I perch on the edge of the chair across from him, hands folded in my lap like a schoolgirl called to the principal's office. He doesn't speak immediately. Instead, he stands, moves to the bar cart, and pours 2 fingers of amber liquid into a crystal glass, takes a slow drink, sets it down with controlled precision. "Do you know what you're doing to me, Emma?" The question catches me off guard. "Sir, don't." His voice cracks like a whip. "Don't play naive. It doesn't suit you." He rounds the desk, and suddenly he's in front of me, close enough that I have to tilt my head back to meet his eyes. "I hired you to clean, to be invisible, to exist in my space without existing." He braces his hands on the armrests of my chair, caging me in. "Instead, you're everywhere. The scent of your shampoo lingers in my bedroom. I find myself listening for your footsteps in the hallway, timing my mornings to catch glimpses of you." "Hi." My breath catches. You don't try," he interrupts. "That's what makes it worse. You're not like the others who parade themselves, angling for my attention. You clean my home and argue with me and look at me like I'm a man instead of a monster, and it's driving me insane." You are a man, I whisper. His laugh is bitter. No, Emma. I stopped being just a man a long time ago. I don't believe that. Then you're a fool. Maybe I find courage I didn't know I possessed. Or maybe you've spent so long being what everyone expects that you've forgotten who you actually are. His hand moves fast, controlled, and suddenly his fingers are wrapped around my wrist. Not painfully, but firm, possessive. His thumb finds my pulse point, and I know he can feel it racing. You should be afraid of me, he says quietly. I am, but I'm also not. His grip tightens fractionally. That's a contradiction. You're a contradiction. I meet his gaze, refusing to look away. You threaten people on phone calls, but pay Mrs. Cho's grandson's medical bills. You have blood on your knuckles, but handle everything in this penthouse like it's made of glass. You tell me to quit, but look at me like what? Like you're drowning and I'm air. The words hang between us, raw and true. His other hand comes up, cups my jaw with surprising gentleness. You're going to ruin me. You're already ruined, I breathe. Maybe we both are. Emma, you're lonely. The realization hits me with crystalline clarity. All this power, all this control, and you're completely alone. That's why you can't stop watching me. Not because I'm tempting you, because I see you, and that terrifies you more than any enemy ever could. Something cracks in his expression, a fissure in the armor, brief but devastating. You don't know what you're talking about, don't I? His thumb traces my lower lip, and heat floods my system. If I kiss you right now, everything changes. You understand that? There's no going back. No pretending. You're just the help. You become mine, and in my world, that's a death sentence. For me or for you? Both. Then don't kiss me. His eyes search mine, dark and desperate. Tell me to stop. No, Emma. I'm not afraid of you, Jamin. I'm afraid of what happens if I walk away. You should walk away. Run while you still can. I don't want to. Why? It's almost a growl. Why would you choose this? Choose me? Because when you look at me, I feel alive. Because you're dangerous and damaged and probably going to break my heart. But you're also the most real thing I've encountered in this city of polite lies and careful faces. Because he kisses me. It's not gentle, not soft. It's possession and desperation. Years of isolation, crashing against walls he's built to keep everyone out. His hand fists in my hair, angling my head, and I open for him, matching his intensity, giving back everything he's pouring into me. When we break apart, we're both breathing hard. This is a mistake, he says, against my lips. Probably. I can't protect you from my world. I'm not asking you to. You should. Jamin. I frame his face with my hands, forcing him to look at me. Really, look. I'm choosing this. Choosing you. Eyes open. Stop trying to save me from myself. His forehead drops to mine. You're going to destroy me, Emma Clark. Only if you let me. He pulls back, and the wall rebuilds. I can see it happening in real time, brick by brick, professional distance sliding back into place. You continue your work as normal, he says, voice carefully neutral. But you no longer clean alone. Security escort at all times. That's excessive. Non-negotiable. Steele returns to his tone. People notice when I pay attention to someone, and those people will use you to get to me. I can take care of myself. I'm sure you can. But you won't have to anymore. It should feel like control. Instead, it feels like the first time anyone's ever truly seen me as worth protecting. Okay, I whisper. His eyes darken with something that might be relief. This conversation didn't happen. What conversation? The ghost of a smile. Go home, Emma. Get some rest. Tomorrow, everything changes. Let me. He's right. I just don't know how much. I noticed them the next morning, two men in dark suits flanking the building entrance, different from the usual security. These watch me specifically, tracking my movements with professional precision. Before, they guarded the building. Now, they guarded me. When I leave work, they follow. Not obviously. They maintain distance, blend into crowds, but I've grown up watching my back. I know when I'm being tailed. By day 3, it's suffocating. There's a man in the coffee shop where I grab breakfast, another on the subway platform, one parked outside my apartment building when I come home at night. I've gone from invisible to the center of a surveillance operation I never agreed to. I storm into Jae-min's office Thursday evening, after my shift has officially ended. He looks up from his laptop, unsurprised. "You're angry. You're having me followed." "Protected. I didn't ask for protection." "No," he agrees calmly. "You asked to stay in my life. This is what that looks like." I plant my hands on his desk. "This is what prison looks like. I can't breathe without one of your men watching. I can't have a private conversation, can't go grocery shopping, can't exist like a normal person. You stopped being normal the moment you kissed me back." The blunt truth of it stops my tirade cold. He stands, circles the desk, leans against it. "I have enemies, Emma. Real ones. People who would cut you open just to watch me bleed. The moment they realize you matter to me, and they will realize, because I'm not as good at hiding my feelings as I thought, you become a target. So your solution is to make me a prisoner? My solution is to keep you alive by controlling every aspect of my life?" His jaw tightens. "If necessary." "That's not okay. Neither is finding your body in the Han River." His voice rises for the first time since I've known him. "Do you have any idea what these people are capable of? What they've done to send messages? I once received a finger with a wedding ring still on it. A mother of 3. Her only crime was working for a man who'd insulted the wrong person. The image steals my breath. He runs a hand through his hair, and I realize he's genuinely afraid. For me. "I can't." His voice cracks slightly. "I won't let that happen to you." My anger deflates. "Jae-min, I know it's suffocating. I know it feels like I'm taking your freedom, but I'm trying to give you a future. One where you wake up tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that." I move closer until I'm standing between his legs. "Then talk to me. Explain things. Don't just make decisions and expect me to fall in line. I'm not used to explaining myself." "Get used to it." A muscle ticks in his jaw. "You're infuriating. You're overbearing. I'm trying to keep you safe." "I know." I soften, touching his face. "But safety can't come at the cost of trust. If this, whatever this is, between us, is going to work, you can't just issue orders. We figure things out together." "I don't know how to do that." "Learn." He catches my hand, kisses the palm. "The security stays." "Fine. But I want to know who they are. I want to be introduced. They stop lurking and start being actual bodyguards I can interact with like human beings." "Done. And you tell me when there's a real threat. No more protecting me through ignorance." He hesitates. "That could put you in danger." "I'm already in danger. At least let me face it with open eyes." After a long moment, he nods. "Agreed." "Good." I start to pull away, but he tugs me back. "Emma?" "Yeah?" "For what it's worth, I'm sorry. I'm not good at this, at caring about someone. My default is control, because that's all I've ever known." The admission costs him. I can see it in the tension of his shoulders, the vulnerability he's forcing into words. "Then we'll figure it out together," I say simply. "Okay?" "All okay." 2 days later, he quietly transferred my tuition fees without asking. I found out through an email confirmation while I was scrubbing a sink, and I stormed into his office with my hands still smelling like bleach. We fought about it for an hour. I told him he couldn't buy my life. He told me he wasn't buying it, he was investing in my future. I told him he was impossible. He told me to take the money and be mad later. I did. I was still mad. I don't learn about my brother until the hospital calls. Miss Clark, this is Seoul National University Hospital. Your brother Michael's surgery went well. He's in recovery now. My blood turns to ice. What surgery? A pause. The appendectomy. It was emergency surgery, but the surgeon is confident. I didn't authorize any surgery. I didn't even know he was in Korea. He listed you as emergency contact, the woman says carefully. But your phone appears to have been unreachable last night. We attempted 3 calls. Our records show it was fully paid for by Papers Shuffle. A Kang Jae-min listed as the financial guarantor. I assumed you were aware. I hang up and run. Jae-min is in his gym, a fully equipped space on the penthouse's lower level. He's at the punching bag, fists wrapped, body gleaming with sweat. Each strike lands with controlled violence, the chain rattling. You paid for my brother's surgery. He doesn't stop. Yes. How did you even know he needed surgery? I have people who monitor threats. Michael showed up on a hospital registry. I made a call. You had no right. Now he stops, turning to face me. He's your little brother, 23, teaching English in Busan. Appendix, ready to rupture. He couldn't afford the surgery. You would have bankrupted yourself trying to help him. I solved the problem by invading my privacy, by digging into my family without my permission. I needed to know who might be used against you. He's not a security risk, he's my brother. Exactly. Jae-min unwraps his hands with sharp movements, which makes him leverage, which means I need to know everything about him, where he lives, who he sees, what his weaknesses are. You're talking about him like he's a tactical problem to solve. In my world, everyone is. I stare at this man, this beautiful, broken, impossible man, and feel something crack in my chest. I can't do this, I whisper. I can't be with someone who sees everything through the lens of strategy and control, where even kindness comes with surveillance attached. He goes very still. What are you saying? I'm saying you can't buy your way into being a good person. You can't protect me into loving you. This I gesture between us. It only works if you see me as a partner, not a problem to manage. I do see you. No, you see a vulnerability, something precious that needs to be locked away and guarded. But I'm not a possession, Jae-min. I'm a person with my own life, my own choices, and you don't get to make them for me, no matter how noble your intentions. Silence stretches like a chasm. Then, you're right. I blink. What? He closes the distance between us, and his hands are gentle when they cup my face. You're right. I'm controlling. I'm used to buying solutions. I see threats everywhere because that's how I've survived. But you're not a problem to solve, Emma. He swallows hard. You're the first person in 15 years who's made me want to be someone different, someone better. And I'm terrified that I'll fail, that I'll lose you because I don't know how to be what you need. Tears prick my eyes. All I need is honesty, partnership, to be included in decisions that affect my life. I can try. I'll probably fail sometimes. My instincts are what they are. Then I'll call you on it, and you'll listen, and we'll figure it out. Together? Together. He kisses me then soft, almost reverent, like I'm something holy instead of a target to protect. Thank you, I whisper against his lips, for helping Michael. Even if you went about it all wrong, I'll try to ask next time. Try harder. His smile is small, but genuine. Yes, ma'am. For the first time since this started, I think we might actually survive each other. The man appears on a Tuesday. I'm leaving the small bookstore near my apartment, a guilty pleasure I've maintained, despite the chaos of my new life, when I catch him in my peripheral vision, tall, Western, expensive suit. He's pretending to examine vintage postcards, but his attention is locked on me. Our eyes meet. He smiles. Every hair on my body stands up. I walk faster, phone already out, texting my main security guard, a stoic man named June, who's proven surprisingly decent at finding the line between protection and intrusion. Man following me. European, 6'2", gray suit. June's response is immediate. Stay in public. 2 minutes out. I duck into a convenience store, pretending to browse snacks while watching the door. The man doesn't follow. But when I emerge 10 minutes later with June at my side, there's a note tucked under my windshield wiper. Such a pretty bird in such a dangerous cage. Does Kang know how fragile you are? V. June's face goes pale. He's on the phone immediately. Rapid Korean I can't follow. 20 minutes later, I'm in Jaemin's office. He reads the note 3 times, and with each pass, his expression goes colder, flatter, until he looks less like a man and more like the edge of a blade. Valentino. The name is barely more than a whisper. Who? A problem I thought I'd solved. He crumples the note in his fist. Victor Valentino, Russian, runs trafficking routes through Eastern Europe. We had a disagreement last year about territorial boundaries. He'd been buying information from corrupt port officials and private investigators for months. Names, addresses, routines, anything with a price. My name was just another file in his collection. What kind of disagreement? His eyes meet mine, and I see murder in them, the kind where I killed his brother. The air leaves my lungs. It was him or 20 girls in a shipping container. Jaemin continues flatly. I chose the girls. Victor's been looking for leverage ever since. And now, he's found it. Yes, I expect panic. Instead, I feel eerily calm. So, what do? We do nothing. You disappear. I have a safe house in Jeju. No, Emma. No. I stand, plant my hands on his desk. I'm not running. I'm not hiding. We deal with this together. Or I walk out that door right now and take my chances on my own. You don't understand what you're dealing with. Then explain it to me. My voice rises. Stop trying to protect me from information and start treating me like I have a brain. What does Victor want? Jaemin's jaw works. Finally, me, dead, preferably, humiliated, at minimum. He'll use you to draw me out, to make me sloppy. He'll hurt you to hurt me. Okay, so we don't give him the chance. The only way to guarantee your safety is nothing, I interrupt. There's no guarantee. There never was. The moment I chose to stay in your life, I accepted the risk. So, stop trying to ship me off like cargo and start figuring out how we outsmart this bastard. Something shifts in his expression. Surprise, maybe respect. You're serious. Completely. He studies me for a long moment. Then he pulls out his phone, dials. Lee, I need the team. Conference room. 20 minutes. A pause. Yes, all of them. We have a situation. He ends the call, comes around the desk, and pulls me into his arms. If anything happens to you, one, Lowe's. It won't. If it does. I pull back to look at him. Then you make sure it means something. You don't spiral. You don't become the monster he wants you to be. You survive. You win. Promise me. His thumb traces my cheekbone. I can't. Promise me anyway. Emma, promise me. Okay, he whispers. Okay. It happens. 3 days later. I'm in my apartment June and another guard outside when the power cuts. Complete darkness. My phone is in the kitchen, charging. I fumble toward it when I hear the sound. Glass breaking. Footsteps. Multiple. Yoon! I scream. A hand clamps over my mouth and I'm dragged backward. I fight knees, elbows, everything Jaemin's team taught me in the 3-week crash course of drills, bruises, and brutal honesty. I connect with something soft. Hear a grunt. Bitch. Then, gunfire. The hand releases me, and I drop to the floor. More shots, shouting in Korean and Russian. The apartment erupts into chaos. furniture splintering, bullets tearing through walls. Strong arms grab me. I thrash until I hear, "Emma, it's June. We have to move." He half carries me toward the door, and that's when I see them. 4 men in black tactical gear. 2 already down. June fires again, and a third drops. But the fourth. The gun swings toward June. I don't think. I grab a lamp and throw it with everything I have. It connects with his head. He stumbles. June shoots. Then we're in the hallway, running. June on his phone shouting coordinates. We make it to the stairwell when headlights flood the garage. A black SUV screeches to a halt, and the door flies open. Jae-min. He's out before the vehicle fully stops, gun drawn, eyes wild. When he sees me alive, bloodied but standing, something breaks across his face. "Get in." Now, June practically throws me into the back seat. Jae-min slides in after, already barking orders to the driver. We peel out as more gunfire erupts behind us. The safe house is a penthouse in Gangnam, different building, same luxury. Jae-min doesn't speak during the ride, just holds my hand in a grip that borders on painful, thumb moving over my knuckles like a prayer. Inside, he finally releases me. Then he punches the wall. "Jae-min, you could have died." His voice is raw. "You should have run, should have hidden. Instead, you threw a fucking lamp at an armed mercenary. He was going to shoot June. June is trained for this. He spins to face me, and his eyes are bright with unshed tears. "You're everything, Emma. Don't you understand? You're everything, and I almost lost you." I cross to him, take his bleeding knuckles in my hands. "But you didn't. This time. Any time." I pull him down to the couch. Find the first aid kit I know he keeps in every property. "Sit." He obeys, watching as I clean his split knuckles with careful precision. "You're good at this," he murmurs. "I've had practice. Foster care, remember? I've patched up more split knuckles and black eyes than I can count. From fighting? From being fought over." I meet his gaze. "You're not the first dangerous man in my life, Jae-min. You're just the first one I chose. I date." His other hand comes up, cups my face. "I don't deserve you." "Probably not." I finish wrapping his knuckles. "But you're stuck with me anyway. Emma, I'm not leaving. Victor can send every mercenary in his arsenal. I'm not leaving." He kisses me then, desperate, grateful, terrified, and I kiss him back with everything I have, pouring all my stubborn determination into it. When we break apart, I ask, "What now?" His expression hardens. Now? Now, I end this. Permanently. How? Victor wants a war. I'll give him one. He stands, pulls out his phone. "But first, I make sure you're somewhere even he can't reach." Jae-min, with me. His eyes lock on mine. "I'm not sending you away, Emma. Never again. You stay by my side, where I can see you, where I can protect you." That's a terrible tactical decision. I don't care. He pulls me to my feet. "You're my partner, right? Then you stay with me. We face this together." My heart swells. "Together, together," he echoes. And as he makes calls, assembling his forces, I realize something fundamental has shifted. He's not trying to protect me from his world anymore. He's bringing me into it, as an equal. 2 months had passed since my first terrified day in Artemis Tower. 2 months of stolen conversations, shared meals, and learning each other's scars. 2 months of pretending this wasn't becoming something real. The city goes dark at 11:47 p.m. Not just our building, all of Gangnam. A rolling blackout, the news claims. Scheduled maintenance, but Jae-min knows better. He's creating chaos. He's at the window, watching emergency lights flicker to life across the skyline. Victor wants the city blind when he moves. I should be terrified. Instead, I feel strangely calm. Maybe because terror has a limit, and I reached it when men broke into my apartment. Maybe because the man standing in shadow-striped moonlight has become my gravity, and wherever he is feels safer than anywhere else. The backup generators kick in, But Jae-min leaves most of the lights off. Strategic. Darkness. How long until your people arrive? I ask. 20 minutes. Maybe less. He turns from the window. Lee is coordinating from the secondary location. June is rallying security. We're as prepared as we can be. But? His mouth quirks. You know me too well already. Talk to me. He crosses the room, and in the dimness, he looks younger. Vulnerable. I spent 15 years building walls. Emotional fortifications so thick that nothing could reach me. No attachments. No weaknesses. Just power and control, and the certainty that I needed no one. He stops in front of me, takes my hands. Then you walked into my home with your awful cleaning supplies and your stubborn refusal to be intimidated, and those walls, they didn't stand a chance. My throat tightens. Jae-min, I'm trying to tell you I love you, Emma. I'm doing it badly, but I'm trying. The words hit like lightning, expected and shocking all at once. You should leave. He continues. Right now. Walk away from me and this life and the target I've painted on your back. Find someone normal. Someone who won't bring armed Russians to your door. Are you finished? He blinks. What? With the noble self-sacrifice speech. Are you done? I'm trying to give you an out. I don't want an out. I want you. I step closer, until our bodies are almost touching. I want this brilliant, broken, impossible man who thinks he's a monster but pays hospital bills and protects trafficking victims and looks at me like I'm worth dying for. You are. I know, and you're worth living for. So stop trying to push me away and accept that I'm choosing this. Choosing you. Choosing us. His control cracks. He kisses me like I'm oxygen, and he's been drowning. Hands fisting in my hair. Mouth demanding and desperate. I match his intensity, pouring every ounce of love and defiance into it. When we break apart, we're both breathing hard. I love you, I whisper. I'm terrified and probably insane, but I love you. His forehead drops to mine. This is a terrible idea. The best ones usually are. He laughs, actual laughter, bright and genuine in the darkness. How did I get this lucky? Clean living and good karma? I've done neither of those things. Then maybe you're owed a miracle. He pulls back, frames my face with his hands. You're my miracle, Emma Clark. My unexpected, stubborn, perfect miracle. That's very romantic for someone who threatens people for a living. I contain multitudes. Clearly. We stand there, wrapped in each other, and for a moment, the danger feels distant. Just two people existing in a pocket of stolen time. Then, his phone buzzes. The peace shatters. He checks the message, and his expression goes cold. They're moving. 3 vehicles, heading this way. Mangsen. How long? 10 minutes. My pulse spikes, but I keep my voice steady. What do we do? He's already moving, pulling a case from beneath the couch. Opens it to reveal guns, multiple types, all gleaming and deadly. You know how to shoot? No. He selects a compact pistol, checks it with practiced efficiency. Safety, here. Point, pull trigger. Only if someone gets past me. Understand? I take the weapon. It's heavier than I expected. I understand. Emma. He catches my chin, forces me to meet his eyes. If it comes down to you or me, you shoot first. You survive. Promise me. Jae-min. Promise. Me. I think of making him promise the same earlier. The circle of our fears, our love, our desperate need to keep each other alive. Okay, I whisper. I promise. Good. His phone rings. Lee, talk to me. He listens, face going progressively darker. Understood. Hold position. No, I'm not abandoning location. We make our stand here. Because I'm tired of running. Because it ends tonight. He ends the call. Change of plans? I ask. Victor's splitting his forces. Half coming here, half hitting our warehouse in Mapo. He thinks I'll choose business over you. He doesn't know you very well. A fierce smile. No, he doesn't. So we fight. We fight. I should run, hide, let the professionals handle it. But I stand my ground, gun in hand, beside this man who's become my entire world in a handful of impossible weeks. Together? I ask. Together, he confirms. The lights flicker, and the war begins. Valentino makes his move. The first explosion rocks the building at midnight. Concussive force that rattles windows and sends my ears ringing. Jae-min is moving before the sound fades, pulling me away from the window toward the reinforced interior room he'd shown me earlier. They're starting with fear, he says, voice calm despite the chaos, trying to flush us out. It's working, I manage. His hand squeezes mine. Stay with me. Trust me. Always. Another explosion closer this time. The building shudders. Emergency alarms start screaming. Jae-min's phone rings. He answers on speaker. Report. They hit the lobby. June's voice, tight with adrenaline. 4 men down theirs, not ours. They're in the stairwells now. 6 on the east, 4 on the west. Elevators? Disabled. They're climbing. Good. Let them come. Jae-min's smile is predatory. How many floors? They're at 15. You're on 40. Give them the 17th floor. Then drop the surprise. Copy that. He ends the call, checks his weapon. We have maybe 8 minutes before they reach this level. What happens on 17? They discover this building has more defenses than they anticipated. He moves to a panel on the wall, enters a code. A screen flickers to life security feeds, showing armed men ascending the stairwells like ants in a colony. Victor himself isn't among them. Too smart, too cautious. Where is he? I ask. Outside, watching, waiting to see if his plan works. And if it doesn't, then he'll retreat, regroup, come at us another way. Jaemin's jaw sets, which is why we're not staying here. What? He's already moving, pulling me toward a section of wall that looks like every other section, presses a hidden catch. The panel slides away, revealing a narrow passage. Private escape route leads to the building next door. From there, we disappear. And Victor thinks he has us trapped, which gives us exactly one opportunity to turn the tables. Understanding dawns. We're the bait. We're the trap. He cups my face. I need you to trust me. Can you do that? I think of everything we've been through, everything we've become to each other, with my life. Good, because I'm about to bet both our lives that I know Victor better than he knows me. We slip into the passage just as the 17th floor erupts. The tactical surprise Jae-min mentioned. I don't see it, but I hear it. Screams, gunfire. The kind of chaos that comes when hunters realize they've become prey. The passage is dark, narrow, claustrophobic. Jae-min navigates it with the confidence of someone who's walked it 100 times. Emergency lighting casts everything in sickly red. We emerge in a parking garage. 3 SUVs wait, engines running. June, at the wheel of the nearest. Lee's team secured the perimeter, June reports. They're bottlenecked in the building. Victor's in a command vehicle, 2 blocks south. June. Jae-min helps me into the back seat, slides in after. Then, let's go have a conversation. Boss, June's expression, is uncertain. He'll have security. I'm counting on it. We drive through streets still dark from the blackout. Police sirens wail in the distance, but they're heading toward Jae-min's building, not away from it. Victor timed this perfectly. Maximum chaos, minimum law enforcement. Too bad he doesn't know Jae-min plays chess while everyone else plays checkers. There, Jae-min points to a black Mercedes van parked in an alley. Standard configuration, driver, plus 4 security inside, with Victor. How do you want to play this? June asks. I walk up and knock. That's suicide. It's psychology. Jae-min checks his weapon one more time. Victor wants me desperate, cornered. Instead, I'm going to show him I'm in control. That I've always been in control. He turns to me. You stay in the vehicle. Doors locked. June gets you out if this goes wrong. No, Emma. You said we're partners. You said we face things together. I meet his eyes. I'm not hiding in the car while you walk into danger. This is different. It's exactly the same. You need Victor to see you're not afraid. What better way than to bring me with you, to show him I'm not leverage because I'm not a victim. I'm your equal. June makes a strangled sound. Boss, she's right. From a psychological standpoint, it's a power move. X shows Victor he has no hold over you. Jae-min looks between us, clearly warring with his protective instincts and his strategic brain. Finally, you stay behind me. You don't engage. First sign of trouble, you run. Agreed? Agreed. He doesn't look happy, but he nods. We approach the van on foot, June and two other guards flanking us. The alley is dark, wet from earlier rain, the kind of scene that would terrify me a month ago. Now, I'm strangely steady. Jae-min knocks on the van door. 3 sharp raps. A pause. Then it slides open. Victor Valentino is smaller than I expected. Late 50s, silver hair, expensive suit. He looks like someone's cultured uncle, not a trafficking kingpin. His smile is warm. His eyes, ice. Kang Jae-min, I was expecting you to be hiding. I don't hide. Victor's gaze slides to me. And you brought your pet. How? Bold. She's not my pet. Jae-min's voice could cut glass. She's my partner, and you're going to leave her alone. Permanently. Am I? Victor leans back, fingers steepled. You killed my brother. Your brother was selling children. I sleep fine with that decision. As do I, truthfully. Dimitri was always the reckless one. Victor's smile doesn't waver. But family is family. Honor demands response. So respond to me. Leave her out of it. Where's the fun in that? Jae-min's hand moves casual, controlled. Suddenly, he's holding a phone. He tosses it to Victor. Open it. Victor does, and his expression finally cracks. What? He scrolls, face going pale. This is impossible. Your trafficking routes, your supply chains, your financial records, every dirty secret you've built your empire on. Unquote. Jae-min's smile is cold. I've been collecting them for months. One click, and it all goes to Interpol, to the FSB, to every law enforcement agency that would love to make an example of you. You're bluffing. Try me. Silence stretches like a blade. So we have a stalemate, Victor says finally. No, we have a negotiation. You leave. Tonight. Go back to Moscow, or hell, or wherever you crawled from. You never come near Emma again. Never speak her name. Never send another mercenary, another threat, another thought in her direction. And in exchange, you get to live. I delete the files. We never cross paths again. Victor's laugh is bitter. You think I'll just walk away? I think you're a businessman. Your brother's death bought freedom for 20 girls and cost you one liability. These files? They'd cost you everything. Your empire, your life. Make the smart choice, Victor. I watch this dance of dangerous men, and I realize Jae-min was right. He's always been 3 steps ahead. Victor studies him, then me, then the phone in his hand. You love her. It's not a question. Truly love her. That's your weakness. No, Jae-min says quietly. It's my strength. Because I'll burn your entire operation to the ground before I let you touch her. The question is, are you willing to lose everything over revenge? Or are you smart enough to recognize when you've lost? Another pause. Then Victor tosses the phone back. Keep your files. Keep your girl. But if we meet again, Kang, all bets are off. We won't meet again. You're going to make sure of that. Victor signals to his driver. The van's engine roars to life. You're a dangerous man to love, Kang Jae-min, he says through the open door. She knows. She chose anyway. Victor's eyes find mine. Then you're either very brave or very foolish, girl. I step forward, beside Jae-min. Equal. Both, I say clearly. Definitely both. Something almost like respect flickers across Victor's face. Then the door slides shut. The van pulls away into the darkness. We watch until it disappears. Is it over? I whisper. For now. Jamin pulls me close, and his hands are shaking. God, Emma, if he'd called my bluff. He didn't. He could have. I kiss him, silencing the spiral. But he didn't. You won. We won. He holds me like I might evaporate, and I feel the toll this took. The fear beneath the control. The love beneath the strategy. I need a drink, June says from behind us. Several drinks. Maybe an entire bottle. Jamin laughs, exhausted, relieved, real. Make it 2 bottles. We're celebrating. As we walk back to the SUV, his hand doesn't leave mine. Together. We survived together. Chapter 9. Love in a Dangerous World. The penthouse feels different in the aftermath. Maybe it's the way morning light streams through the windows, warm and honest. Maybe it's the absence of immediate threat, allowing me to actually notice the space, the art, the books tucked in unexpected places, the signs of a life lived with more depth than I'd initially thought. Or maybe it's because Jamin is cooking. Actually cooking. In the kitchen. Wearing sweatpants and a t-shirt that shows off the tattoos I'd only caught glimpses of before, intricate designs covering his left arm and shoulder, beautiful and deadly like the man himself. You're staring, he says, without turning around. You're cooking. I do have basic life skills. Could have fooled me. I've been here weeks and only seen you drink coffee and brood. He glances over his shoulder, and there's actual humor in his eyes. I don't brood. You absolutely brood. Professionally. Olympic-level brooding. Come here. I cross to him, and he pulls me against his chest, kissing the top of my head. We stand like that, swaying slightly, while eggs sizzle on the stove. I'm moving you in, he says, casually. Excuse me? Your apartment is compromised. Victor may be gone, but others will notice eventually. You need proper security. So you're moving in here. I pull back to look at him. That's a pretty big decision to make unilaterally. He has the grace to look sheepish. You're right. I'm asking. Emma, would you move in with me? That's better. I pretend to consider. What are the terms? Terms? I'm not giving up my independence. I keep my job at the university. Yes, I enrolled. And yes, you're paying. But I'm doing the work myself. I maintain friendships outside this world, and you don't get to make major life decisions without consulting me first. His mouth quirks. Anything else? Sunday mornings are mine. No business. No emergencies. Unless someone is literally dying. Just us. Done. And you teach me self-defense. Real training, not just the crash course. I want to be able to protect myself. Absolutely. Also, Mrs. Cho reports to both of us. Equal authority. She'll hate that. She'll adjust. He's grinning now. You're negotiating like a CEO. I learned from the best. I wrap my arms around his neck. So, do we have a deal? On one condition. What's that? You let me love you. Properly. Completely. Even when I'm terrible at it and revert to controlling tendencies. My throat tightens. I can do that. And you stay. Even when things get hard. Even when my world crashes into yours in ugly ways. You stay. Other. Jamin. I cup his face. Make him see the truth in my eyes. I'm not going anywhere. You're stuck with me. Thank God, he whispers, and kisses me. The eggs burn. We don't care. Mrs. Cho takes the news with surprising grace. But she had softened over months, in small, reluctant ways, bringing me tea without asking, correcting my Korean gently, watching me like a disapproving aunt who secretly cared. Finally, she says when Jamin makes the announcement, I was tired of pretending not to notice the way you two looked at each other. You knew? I ask. Miss Clark, I've worked for Mr. Kang for 8 years. I know when his routines change. When he starts smiling at his phone. When he reorganizes his schedule to maximize. She glances at Jae-min. Proximity. He has the decency to look embarrassed. I'll have your things moved from your apartment, Mrs. Cho continues. And I'll prepare the guest suite for your brother when he visits. My brother? Mr. Kang mentioned Michael might want to stay in Seoul for post-operative care. I assumed. You assumed correctly. Jae-min cuts in. Family is welcome here. Always. I have to blink back tears. The first month is an adjustment. Mrs. Cho reassigns me quietly, efficiently away from full domestic cleaning and into administrative oversight and part-time housekeeping. I'm no longer just the maid. I'm staff, family adjacent, untouchable, in a way that makes the other employees look at me with a mixture of awe and fear. I learned the rhythms of Jae-min's legitimate business real estate, technology investments, a surprising number of legal enterprises that actually help people. The illegal parts he keeps carefully separated, and I don't ask for details I don't need. We establish routines, morning coffee together, evening debriefs about our days, Sunday mornings in bed, the world locked outside. He teaches me to shoot properly. I teach him to cook something beyond eggs. We argue about furniture placement and compromise on art for the walls. It's shockingly domestic, and I love every minute. Michael visits in March. He's suspicious at first, protective younger brother, meeting the dangerous boyfriend. But Jae-min wins him over by talking literature and teaching him Korean drinking games and quietly ensuring his teaching contract gets renewed for another year. He's terrifying, Michael tells me one night. But he looks at you like you're the sun. Is that bad? No, it's just intense. You're sure about this? I think about everything we've survived, everything we've built. I've never been more sure of anything. 6 months in, I wake to find Jae-min watching me sleep. Creepy, I mumble. I was thinking. Dangerous. He smiles, traces my cheekbone. I was thinking about how you walked into my life and destroyed every carefully constructed defense I'd built. How you made me want to be better. How you chose me despite every reason not to. Where is this going? Nowhere. Everywhere. He kisses me softly. I just wanted you to know. You saved me, Emma, from loneliness, from becoming the monster everyone expected, from a life that looked powerful but felt empty. You saved yourself, I counter. I just reminded you that you wanted to. No, you loved me when I was unlovable, stayed when everyone else would have run, saw potential in a man covered in blood and bad choices. You're more than your worst choices. Because you believe that. Because you make me believe it. We lie there, tangled together, and I think about the job posting that started this, the salary that seemed too good, the NDA that should have warned me away, the man who turned out to be everything dangerous and everything I needed. I love you, I whisper. I love you more. Impossible. Watch me. Outside, Seoul wakes up millions of people starting their ordinary days. Inside this penthouse, we exist in our own extraordinary world. It's dangerous. It's complicated. It's ours. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. Later, when people ask how we met, I tell them the truth. I answered a job posting. He needed a maid. I needed money. What I don't tell them is how he needed saving more than cleaning, how I needed purpose more than safety, how we found in each other something neither of us knew we were missing. Love in a dangerous world looks like trust built under fire, partnership forged in crisis, choosing each other every single day, even when the choice is hard, especially when the choice is hard. They say, love conquers all. I say love survives all, and sometimes that's even better.